Good morning, all. For the second week in a row, we're privileged to have another out-of-towner. This time we have Dr. Norm Faust, who hails from Princeton for undergrad, Yale for med school, Hopkins for residency, Harvard for his MPH, and also now is in University of Wisconsin, Wholesome Midwest again, to direct the program of medical ethics at University of Wisconsin, where he's also a professor of pediatrics. And he's also the chair of the ethics and IRB committees there. So he has a lot on his plate, and we are delighted to have him here. And with no further ado, Dr. Norm Faust.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be with you all. When George Agich invited me to come spend the day, I think this is my third trip to the Cleveland Clinic, and a pleasure to be back with Doug Moody, of course, an old friend from Wisconsin. George asked me to send a list of topics that I might be interested in talking in, and I sent in a list of 10 or 11 things, ranging from killing defective newborns to genetic engineering to cloning to experimentation to waiving consent and emergency research, the bioethics topics of the day. But I couldn't have been more pleased when Dr. Rome, out of the list, picked my favorite topic, which is about banning drugs in sports, the prohibition of anabolic steroids in competitive athletes. It has almost nothing to do with pediatrics. Beg pardon? Yes. But is really the topic that interests me the most, because for reasons that I think will become clear in a few minutes. I think the underlying ethical issues that I'm going to talk about tie in very closely with several large topics in pediatrics. First, a medium-sized one, which is the use of growth hormone in non-growth hormone deficient children, which has been a long-standing and still expanding controversy among pediatric endocrinologists. But what it really connects with is the forthcoming debate on gene therapy and genetic engineering, which we hope someday will arrive, and claims that are made that, of course, such technologies are and will be appropriate for children and others with real diseases, but God forbid that they should ever be used for enhancement, and everybody's worst fear being that genetic technology will be used to enhance traits of people who are already normal, and that parents will get caught up in engineering their children. Well, my own idiosyncratic views are that none of these things are as problematic as they seem to be, and I'd like to spend the time on the drugs and sports issue to suggest that the intuitive abhorrence that people have for these performance-enhancing drugs is really not founded on any moral considerations, and one can only speculate, therefore, about why it evokes so much concern.